Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. Today I'm going to be completing the paper 3 data analysis section, which is spreadsheets, from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. So paper 3 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. We're going to be doing a May-June 2019 paper version 32. So I'm going to focus on spreadsheets in this video. So let's scroll down to page 7. Okay. Task 3 spreadsheet. You're going to prepare a spreadsheet for SuperDisk sales. This company makes and sells storage devices. The company will use a spreadsheet to compare some of the solid state drives that they sell. All prices are in euros, which must be displayed with 2 decimal places. So the key part of this information here is the currency values will be shown in euros, and they will be set to 2 decimal places. So I'm just going to underline this key part. So in the exam you should be underlining the key parts of the exam paper. Right, question 14. So the first part of the spreadsheet. What we need to do is open and examine the files ssd manufacturer.csv and ssd.csv in the spreadsheet package. So let's open up both of these files. So that's the first one, and this is going to be the second file. So if I go to my source folder, you can see both files are comma separated values. So let me open up the first one and the second one. Okay, let's just go to the main sheet. So this looks like the main sheet here. I'm just going to increase the column size so I can see all of the data. Right, we're missing manufacturer, and we have a code here, M code, which are letters. Let's just have a look at the second sheet. Yep, so M code also appears there and the manufacturer appears there. So without looking at the question paper, you can basically judge that you're going to be using a Vlookup, using this as a lookup value, this as a table array, and the manufacturer will be outputted from the second column of the table array. So that's the first thing that we can establish. And then obviously we need to work out the price per gigabyte. Okay, so right, so I'm just having a look. Okay, so happy with that. Let's see the next part. So in the file ssd.csv spreadsheet, insert 2 new rows at the top. So we're going to be focusing on this one here, so SSD, which is this one here. What we need to do is to insert 2 new rows at the top. So let me just highlight this so we know which one we're working in. To insert a row, just right click on the number 1 on the left hand side here. Right click and select insert, and let's do that again. So we've got 2 new rows along the top. Enter in cell A1 the text SDS-SSD price per gigabyte. So if I click on A1, I can copy and paste. I'm going to use a shortcut key, so Control and V. Obviously you would have to write this into your cell. Make sure you don't make any spelling mistakes when you're entering a text. Make sure where you see capital letters, you also use capital letters. Okay, so that's that done. Obviously in the exam you will be writing, you won't be able to copy and paste. Now what we need to do is merge cells A1 to G1. So A1 is this cell here, and we want to merge it all the way across to G1. So you select the cells and then you can click up here, merge and center. Okay, now we need to format this merge cell. So A1 to have a white 30.7 font and a red background. So let's change the background first of all. The font color is going to be white. So we've done this already. The size of the font will be 30 and the font style will be serif. So let me change the font size to 30 first of all. I may have to enter it in. and we're going to choose a serif font. So by default I'm going to go with Times New Roman. So if they ask for sans serif, go for Arial, but in this case they've asked for serif, so I'm going to go with Times New Roman. Okay, so that's that done. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else. Format, so it's white, 30 point serif and red background. Format the text in row 3 to be red. So this is row 3 here. So we can highlight the cells, change the colour. 18 points and sans serif font. So 18 point, and if we're choosing a sans serif font we can go with Arial. So 18 red, yeah. And then what we need to do, let me just highlight this, is format the top of the spreadsheet to look like this. Right, the one thing that people will miss out, you'll notice the second row, the size is probably a quarter of what it should be. So the first thing I'm going to do is reduce the size of the second row. This is something that can be easily missed out. So yeah, I've reduced the size, and then what we're going to do is increase the column size so we can see the labels in full. Okay, I'm just double checking everything, and all the text has been left aligned. So let me check if that's the default. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's that done. Now what we're going to do, we're going to be saving the spreadsheet with a file name sds_ssd_ your center number and then your candidate number. So for my center number I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8, and then for my candidate number I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me copy this. You can save it into your source folder, so save as, browse. Let me change the name first of all. 5, 6, 7, 8 for my center number, 1, 2, 3, 4 for my candidate number. And we have to save it as a spreadsheet, so not as a CSV file. We need to save it as a spreadsheet. So if you did leave it as a CSV file, you completed your formulas, you close down the Excel, you open it back up again, you won't be able to see the formulas since this CSV will only save the values. So make sure you always save your work as an Excel workbook, just in case you do close down your Excel, you need to open it back up again, you can still access your formulas. So Excel workbook is what we should be saving it as. Let's click on save. We're in our source folder. Save. Okay, just before we move forward, I want to highlight the fact that the formatting part is 9 marks. So make sure you get the right font style. So it's really easy to forget the font style. So if they do ask for serif, as a default I always go with Times New Roman. And if they ask for sans serif, as a default I always go with Arial. And one thing that's easily missed is the second row. You can see it's been resized. So make sure you do resize the second row. Okay, let's now move on to the next question. So place your name, center number and candidate number center line in the header. Okay, so if I go to insert, normally the header and footer options should be here. So for me, if I go to this option here, the header and footer is in this section here, but normally it's here when you click on insert. So let me click on header. So in the header, what we need to do, center aligned, is to include your name, center number and candidate number, center aligned in the header. So you do have the option to click on the left side, on the right side, but since we want to be in the center, let's stay here. Let's write my name, then I think it's a center number, so I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8 for now, and then my candidate number I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me double check. So name, center number, candidate number, yes, that's done now. Place the text created on, followed by automated date, then space, then automated time, left align in the footer. So let's go to the footer now. click up here, go to footer, left align what we want created on space. Okay, so created on followed by an automated date. So let's get a date in. It's a date, yeah. And then what we want is a space and then time. And then we double check if that was right. So you date and then time. Left align in the footer. Yep, we've done that. And we just highlight. And like I said before, it's really important you do highlight key parts of the question. Okay, so that's that done now. To get out the header and footer view, what you can do, click on any cell on your Excel, go to view, and then go to normal. And before we move on, let me go to print preview to check if the header and footer details are showing. So if you go to file, print, you can see my name, candidate details, center align in the header. If you go to different pages, you can see the details appear at the top, and at the bottom you can see created by or created on, the date and then the time appearing on every page. Okay, let me save the changes. Okay, question 16. So in cell C4, use the function to look up the manufacturer's name. So C4 is going to be this cell here. Okay, let me go back to the question. Use the M code column for the lookup value. So that's what we predicted before. And the external file SSD manufacturer.csv for the array. Okay, so we're basically going to be looking up this column here, and then we're going to be referring to this table array here. Now it's really important this is open before we start the VLOOKUP. If you type in equals and then you try to open up this Excel file, this CSV file, it's not going to open. So before you start the VLOOKUP, it's really important you open up the file first. So let's start. It's going to be a VLOOKUP. The lookup value is going to be M code, comma, to get to the table array. The table array is going to be on this external sheet here, and we can highlight. It doesn't really matter if you highlight from the top row or from the second row. Doesn't really make a difference. I'm just going to highlight the whole table. And you'll notice before we do move on from the table array, because it's an external sheet, it's automatically absolute cell referenced this table array. So this has been locked into place, so we don't need to do anything else. Comma, the column index is going to be from what column do we want the output, and we want the manufacturer, which is in the second column. So we can type in 2 for the column index, comma, and what we want is the exact match. So for example, if you see B, then the output will be whatever's in this cell here. So let's click on exact match. Once you finish, you can close the bracket and then you can press enter. And let's double check. So A should return this value here. Let me just look at our table array. Yeah, A returned this manufacturer. Yep, that's right. Okay, I am going to be replicating the functions using steps 16 and 17 for each drive. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag it down now actually. So let's replicate the VLOOKUP now. Okay, let's go up now, save the changes, and let's look at the next question. Okay, let's now look at question 17. In cell G4, use the formula to calculate the price per gigabyte for this drive. So the key part here is we're going to be using a formula, it's not going to be a function, to calculate the price per gigabyte for this drive. And remember, any values in currency, we're going to be using euros to 2 decimal places. Okay, we're going to be rounding this value down to 2 decimal places, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So we're going to use a formula in G4. So let me see where G4 is. G4 is this cell here. Okay, the price is 60 euros for 128 gigabytes. So it's basically just it's around half a euro per gigabyte, if you can see here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is basically divide the price /4 divide by capacity in gigabytes. Let's press enter. Okay, so yeah, it's about €0.50 for a gigabyte right now. And the next thing that we need to do is to round this value down to 2 decimal places. So we're going to round it down. So now we can use a function. So after equals, round down, rounds the number down towards 0, double click, and you can see that's the number, that's the calculation that we want to do, comma, and we want to round it down to 2 decimal places. So let's type in 2, close the bracket, press enter. Yep, so just around €0.50 for a gigabyte. Right, so that's that done. Let's replicate the functions used in step 16, which I've done already, and for step 17. So replicate basically means to drag it down. So let's click here, go to the corner, and let's drag this all the way down. Save the changes. Now what we need to do is we're going to be applying appropriate formatting. So remember, the currency needs to be applied. So formatting to rows 4 to 108 of the spreadsheet. So apply appropriate formatting to rows 4 to 108. So that's going to be from here to basically here, the last column here, or last row here. Right, the formatting that we need to apply is going to be the price and the price per GB. And if you go to home, we can go to up here and we can apply euros. Okay. Or what you can do, you can right click your mouse, go to format cells, currency actually, and let's apply the euro, 2 decimal places. Done. It's the same thing. So if you just want to do like this or use this method, sometimes they may ask you to find another currency. So if that was the case, then you'd have to right click and go to format and then find the different currency. So it's best to know both methods. Okay, is there anything else that we need to do? I'm just going to go to the top here. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Save your spreadsheet, and now we're coming to the first printout. So we're going to print the entire spreadsheet showing the formula. So let me first show the formula view. So if you go to formulas, click on show formulas, and the first thing we need to do is just to adjust the column sizes so we can see the formulas in full. So you can see this is cut off. So we want to show the formula in full. And yeah, we can see the full formulas in full now. So we're going to print in landscape. So let me go to file, print. Let's set the page to landscape. Okay. Row and column headings are displayed. So when you are printing formulas, you need to include the numbers along the side and letters across the top. So to do so, you can go to scaling, click on custom scaling options, go to sheet and select row and column headings. Okay. And the contents of all the cells are fully visible. So look, we got you can see the full formula in full for the Vlookup, and if you go forward you can see the round down as well with the simple formula inside. Now what I'm going to do actually is I don't want to print 8 pages out off. If we go to custom scaling options, let's see if I can fit to 2 pages wide, 1 page tall. Let's see if this works first of all. No, that's going to be really difficult to see. So custom scaling options, maybe 2 pages tall. That's almost perfect. So fit to, I don't think it's fitting to 2 pages tall, so we can go to 3. 1 page wide, 3 page tall. Yeah, that looks a bit better now. So one page wide. We can see everything in full. You can see the formulas in full. What you don't want to do is print it off and it's too small for the examiner to see. And also what you don't want is to print off 8 pages, because you don't want too many pages being printed off. So that's your first page, that's your second page, and that's your last page. And we can see everything in full. We can see the letters along the top, the numbers along the side. We can see your candidate details in the header on every page, and you can see the footer details as well with the date and time. So you can send this to the print, and like I say always, if you do print and you do spot a mistake, then you can always print again. Okay, so that's the first printout done. So make sure you've entered your name, center number and candidate number on your spreadsheet showing the formula. Yep, we've done that. Okay. Now we're going to be printing the entire spreadsheet showing the values. So let's take the formulas off. So formulas off. And again, adjust the column sizes so we can see all of the data in full. So I just double click in between the letters. Okay. So we're going to, printout's going to fit on a single page wide and 2 pages tall. So if we go to print again, what we need to do is take off the row and column headings first of all, because we don't normally have these when you print in the values. So let's go to custom scaling, sheet, and take off the row and column headings. Now I'm going to check if it's asking me to make this landscape or portrait. So there's no mention of landscape or portrait, but what we want is a single page wide and 2 pages tall. So let me go to custom scaling options, 1 page wide, 2 pages tall, and we can change it to portrait actually, so because we've got all this wasted space here, so let's change it to portrait. Yep, so that looks better. So 1 page wide and 2 pages tall. Again, we can see the header and footer details appearing on every page. Contents of all the cells are fully visible with no split words. Yep, so we can go ahead and we can print this, and I've just checked to see if my name and candidate details was on the printout, and you can see it's up here at the top. Just going to double check if we can see everything, nothing's cut off. Yep, and this is the next printout. So again, if there's any mistakes, double check, and you can always print again. Save the changes. Okay, and I think, yeah, we're coming to the end of this question now. Okay, for question 22, so we're going to be extracting. So in some papers it may say extract, it may say interrogate, it may actually say filter. So what this actually means is we're going to be filtering the data. So only the drives made by Samsung or OZ2 are showing that cost under €200 with more than 240 gigabytes of storage capacity. So let me first of all apply the filter. So we're going to highlight this table here, and to apply the filter, if you go to home, sort and filter, we can click on filter. So the first thing that we want to filter or extract is only the drives made by Samsung or OZT. Okay, there's 2 ways of doing this. You can click down on manufacturer, and you can deselect all of them and select OZT and Samsung. That shows only Samsung or OZT. So that's probably the quickest way of doing that one. You could have also clicked here, filter, equals, and you could have done wrote OZT and Samsung here as well. That would have worked as well. But that's done now. So let's look at the next one. That cost under €200. So we're going to do the price, okay, not the price per gigabyte. So if I click here, number filters, this time it's going to be less than €200. So let's enter 200. Okay, so again you can see there's less records, you can see there's nothing beyond 200, so I'm looking at this column here, and with more than 240 gigabytes of storage capacity. So the storage capacity needs to be more than 240 gigabytes. So capacity, let's click on this one here, number filters, greater than 240. So let me double check if that's right. Yeah. So can you see here, there's nothing less than 240. Everything is greater. The cost is under €200, and the maximum is 199, and the manufacturer is Samsung or OZT. Okay, so that's the first part done. Sort the extract into ascending order of manufacturer and then ascending order of price. So I'm going to highlight all of the table again, sort and filter, and what we want to do is click on custom sort. So the first thing we want to sort by is ascending order of manufacturer. Okay, so that's going to be A to Z. And then ascending order of price. So we can add a level, then by price. And before we press enter, so what we should have is the manufacturer sorted, so O comes before S, so OZT should be at the top. Okay, then you should have Samsung, and then the price should go from smallest to the highest. So let's press OK. Yep, so we got these items here, and you can see for those items the price goes from highest goes from lowest to the highest. And then we have Samsung, and then again we have the price that goes for Samsung devices from the lowest to the highest. Okay, so that's that done. Let's see what we need to do next. So we're going to print the extract showing the values. Make sure the printout fits on a single page. The contents of all required cells are fully visible. So if you go to File, Print, and it fits on a single page automatically. If it doesn't, you can go to Custom Scaling Options, Fit Sheet on one page. We're showing the values, it fits on a single page, and all of the contents are fully visible. And again, make sure you check to see your header and footer details are showing. So yes, they are. You can see the candidate details along the top. The footer details are showing here, and then you got all of the information, nothing's cut off. So this is your final printout. Okay, so again, if you do realize there's a mistake, for example with the sort, or you know some of the data has been cut off, you're more than welcome to print off again in the exams. Okay, so let's save the changes. Okay, so now we've come to the end of this data analysis section, so spreadsheets. Just to recap, we were doing the May-June 2019 paper version 32 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. So this spreadsheet exam was quite straightforward compared to previous exam papers I've seen. Now to find the files and resources, you can go to my website, and you can find the links in the description below. So please drop your comments, please show your support to the channel, please subscribe below, and again, thanks for your time.